As it says on that screen over there, we are the unofficial One Piece podcast, and we're back at Otakon this year. We had a panel back in 2010. How many of you were there? Oh wow.
Oh, that's a good amount.
It looks like it. That was a lot of fun. You guys were insane, so I'm getting that kind of feeling.
In a good way.
Since then, we did some fan meetups. 2 years ago, we did the Pizzerina Uno meetup. How many? Any of you guys there? Good. Good amount of you guys. Then last year, we had the OPPJapan, the One Piece podcast convention. Did any of you attend that?
I made a sex with the trivia contest.
Shut up. Well, for you guys that did come to those, thank you, because we didn't have any panels, but we wanted to have a meetup and we wanted to, unite the fans. But now we're finally back, we have a panel, and we're gonna have a good time here, folks.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys can make it.
Totally. So I feel like we should introduce ourselves, because it seems like we got some fresh meeting here. We are the unofficial One Piece podcast.
Yeah, and we've been doing it started as a bi-weekly podcast and it's changed to weekly. Podcast since May of 2009. We basically cover everything that there is to cover about One Piece. We cover every manga chapter, all the news, every anime episode. We do interviews with voice actors. We even take all of your questions. We submit them on Twitter, Tumblr, email. We're on every sort of social media that there is, and we love to answer your questions and talk about One Piece. So, if you just get a show of hands out here, how many people subscribe or listen to the podcast currently? It's better than usual.
Nice.
Yeah. I think we scared people away. For the online podcast awards, we've been nominated for Best Entertaining Podcast over the last 3 years, and thank you, Snarky One Piece Podcast.
And I also believe we're the only anime podcast to make it to those awards, too.
Yeah. And number 15, that's the highest we got on Stitcher, it was top 100. iTunes, we got pretty high up in not only in the US, but Japan, Germany, and other places. But we've been doing this for quite a while now. But a big thing I feel like we need to discuss is the One Piece podcast in Japan. How many of you are, I think that's kind of a redundant question to ask, how many of you are familiar with this? But pretty much any of our listeners are probably familiar with it.
So anyone who listens knows, but we did this Kickstarter project because we wanted to go to the source of One Piece. We wanted to send Zach, who's basically the main host of the podcast, who founded it with me back in 2009, we wanted to send him to Japan to visit the source of One Piece, to visit everything, because they have all these great stadium shows, and there are people that we can interview, and fortunately we have our contact, Greg, who was on the One Piece Japanese trivia show, he's been on TV in a trivia contest about One Piece twice now, competing against the former editors of the comic, and they won once, so we got that going for us.
They won the rematch.
Yeah, and where was that picture taken? Steve, do you know?
I don't know.
That was from day one of the trip last week, that was in Tokyo, but they're going all over. They're going to Universal Studios Japan, they have a One Piece stage show, where, there's a One Piece planetarium, there was a One Piece exhibit at this United States of Odaiba in Odaiba, Tokyo. And we got some great interviews. We got to interview, it may sound a little creepy, but we went to Oda's high school and interviewed his former homeroom teacher.
I have another thing with the guests.
What's it?
It's not about the location, but also, we didn't introduce ourselves.
Oh, right. By the way, I'm Ed.
By the way, I'm Steve.
Hi, Steve. And I'm Jason.
Yes.
Hi, Jason.
Now you know our names, so now you know.
We also have an interview with a former co-worker of Oda's from the Barate restaurant in Kumamoto, which was the inspiration for the Barate restaurant. And we also got to interview, very rare, the current editor of One Piece, the man who works closest with Oda, Takeru Isaka. And this should be coming this fall and this winter, the video series that we're doing about it. So.
I'll show you some pics that Zach sent to me. This is the Mugiwara store.
We also interviewed the manager of the store.
Yes, interviewed the manager of the store. Zach told me this is it. This is the store, and it's not shooting down any dealer's hall, but this goes beyond what dealer's hall has. Anything and everything One Piece. You got maybe not the toilet paper, but
think that was limited edition.
This is the floor plan to Shueisha's Shonen Jump theme park, J-World. Yep. Disneyland with One Piece, Goku, and that ninja kid. But Zach and Greg did go there.
And if any of you remember several months back, me failing to get through a news segment without laughing, talking about this place called Namco Namja Town. It's basically a Namco indoor theme park attraction they have in Japan, and they also visited that.
Also, Japan has their own Universal Studios, so they have a big One Piece water show, and they went and checked that out as well. Check out that. And in case you're wondering, you see these Franky forums down here, those are fans that they sell at Universal Studios, so I just find it funny when Franky does the pose and everyone in the audience does it.
It's super hot in summertime in Japan right now.
This is also a list of people we interviewed.
The producer of the amusement park, J-World Amusement Park, we did get an interview with him as well.
Yes. And we mentioned Baratier, the original steakhouse that inspired the Baratier. And they also went to the new Baratier-themed restaurant, the One Piece themed one. Tons of stuff. That's all coming this winter, and we didn't mention...
And if you can see on the bottom of it, that's Zach in a figure arts box.
So let that sink in for a moment. This is what a Kickstarter funded. No, we very appreciate fans came out of their way, they donated, they supported this trip, and now we're going to get back to some really cool exclusive interviews that you guys wouldn't normally get.
And this is really only possible because of the access that our friend and correspondent Greg has in Japan, being on the trivia show, and now he writes a One Piece themed column for VJump, which is a video game magazine that's a sister magazine to Shonen Jump, which is where One Piece is published in Japan and in America too, online.
Okay, so I think that's all about us and OPPJapan. So let's get into what's happening with the current One Piece shenanigans. I would like to talk about the Funimation releases. How many of you guys own the Funimation DVDs?
At least one of them.
Thank God.
It's better every year.
I've been going to a lot of conventions lately, and not too many people have the DVDs, and there you go. And if you haven't bought the DVDs yet, like this fine gentleman, you can buy the collections when on Amazon. I think they're like $20 right now for 24 or 26 episodes.
And even in the dealer's hall here, they're $25.
Yeah.
Not even that much more.
So if you've been skimping out on it, you got to own your favorite series. They're going, oh yeah, that's good news. That's good news to me.
And for any of you, in talking about the most recent release, they just started releasing season 5.
Yeah. This was announced last year. How many of you picked up Voyage 1?
And if any of you have pre-ordered Voyage 2 on the right stuff, it may be shipped already.
It has shipped already, yeah.
Voyage 1 came out about a month ago. Usually with right stuff, if you pre-order, you get it really early. Not this time.
Yeah.
Voyage 2 is shipping already.
Yeah, I'm going to have my copy on Tuesday. So
I pre-ordered it yesterday and I want to kick myself in the ass.
And it officially comes out September 3rd. So
Yeah.
quite ahead of time.
And who knows about the One Piece simulcast? How many simulcast watchers are there? Okay, it's good sign. If you don't know what the simulcast is, it's an official stream. It's the official release stream online of the newest One Piece episode through Funimation, subbed, and it airs 1 hour. It's online 1 hour after it airs in Japan.
And just as an aside, I mean, the simulcast is the whole impetus for the podcast starting to begin with, because back in May of 2009, when the simulcast was first starting, it ended up getting canceled briefly because someone was able to download the episode from Funimation's website before it aired, because it had been uploaded to the server. So someone found it and put it up on a torrent, and the simulcast was canceled for 3 months. And the whole anger that we had around that, because we were huge One Piece fans, we wanted to see it succeed on the internet in an official way, and the whole anger surrounding that was what made us start the podcast. So we always loved One Piece.
Well, we're living in an era now where we have anime episodes that come out an hour after they did in Japan, and manga chapters the same day.
Yeah. I few years ago, I wouldn't even picture that happening.
We were still in Alabama.
Yeah, we were still in Alabama.
If anyone else remembers the terrible language of the scanlations of that era as well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, no One Piece characters use the F word.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
It's a kid's manga. That's the Hong Kong DVDs. That's another conversation.
Yeah, but, just to finish up about the Funimation releases, yes, they're releasing season 5, but also Strong World.
That had a huge pop in the Funimation.
That is going to be released November 19th of this year.
Blu-ray DVD.
There you go.
Blu-ray DVD.
It is beautiful. You should check it out.
But,
so, if you have those friends that want to get into One Piece and aren't into it, and they're asking, where should I go? What should I watch? Strong World is a good example. It's a whole story in about 2 hours, and it's pretty good.
yeah, I highly recommend, now that we're getting official release, if you have some friends that are reluctant to get into One Piece, but they want to give it a shot, Strong World, spoilers aside, I think it's your best bet.
Yeah.
Because everything else is a story arc, and they got to send it for the long haul. But I have something a little fresh for you. This just popped up on the internet this past week. It is the trailer for Season 5, Voyage 3. We're gonna watch it.
I can see the gates of justice from here, but I don't know if I can get there on a road. I don't have time to stand here and think. I gotta give it a shot, at least.
I don't want to die, but I was raised to never hit Lee.
Is running away against your code of honor too? Because that's not worth dying over either. Leave that woman to me. If you think I'm just a pretty face, you're in for a world.
Slow it down. I'm gonna refill my cola as soon as possible.
Hang on, Robin! Stupid midget guy!
The official release date, I know it's coming out in October. I'm not sure about the exact date.
Who knows when it'll ship from right stuff?
Season 5, I think they changed their doing what appears to be monthly releases.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at it. We have Voyage 2 coming out in September, we have Voyage 3 coming out in October, and in November we have Strong World. There is much One Piece coming out, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down.
But Enies Lobby, that was a pretty popular arc. What do you guys think? I know the anime definitely has its pacing issues. We talked about that recently on our episode. But
Oh, there's still a lot of shining.
it seems like, how many people, when you were getting into One Piece, Enies Lobby was the current arc? It's not too many.
That's what it was for me.
Yeah, for me too.
Mine was Skypea.
We're old. But it seems to be a fan favorite, and I'm definitely looking forward to this release. Besides the flashback fillers, we get the rest of Robin's flashback.
We also get the Mugiwara Theater.
Yes.
The little humorous shorts.
You guys remember that, like Obama Time, Gangster Time.
The introduction of Chopper Man.
Chopper Man. I can't wait for that.
I think Brian's gonna have a lot of fun with that.
I'm definitely looking forward to Franky versus Fukuro. I think that might have been my favorite CP9 fight. Yeah! Any fans of Franky versus Fukuro? Franky with the tomato juice.
And the tea.
And the tea.
I'm excited for Chopper.
Well, I'm glad you guys are enthusiastic. It seems like Enies Lobby still holds up really well with you guys. I also want to talk about this thing that got canceled and then got brought back.
Who watches One Piece on Tsunami? That's what I like to see.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
You gonna watch it tonight?
Yeah. Good for you guys. It's gonna be an awesome episode. The finale of Goofy versus Fox. Awesome Afro Power. What was it? Afro Power. Afro Power. Soul Glow. Job sold girl. So Toonami came back last year. That was awesome. I'm not gonna get into that too much. This year we got One Piece, and not unlike 2007 when it struggled to shed the impressions of the 4Kids dub, and was eventually taken off at Toonami. Let's talk about how well it's doing. The green is One Piece.
One Piece this year.
Yes. Red is Casherin Sins, which was in the same time slot from last year. And the blue is Bleach this year. I like these guys. But I think about a month into One Piece's run on the new Toonami, it broke over 1 million views. And ever since, it's been #1 in its time slot for its age demographic. So I think One Piece is here to stay on American television for a long time. I didn't think I'd ever be saying that again. But I'm glad there's a lot of people watching Toonami, and I think it's going to bring in a lot of new fans. I think the Davey Back fight was a pretty good place to start. What do you guys think?
Yeah. It's really, and it's the only place you can watch One Piece in HD, because they're not going to be releasing Blu-rays of those.
Yeah. You know what I'm excited for? The Toonami promos when they get to Water 7.
I think that's what everyone's. Just everyone's like Water 7.
I think Water 7 is consensus on the podcast. I think just about everyone's favorite arc. So,
what do you guys think? Water 7.
Water 7.
I heard some no's. Throw a bark. Alright, now we want to talk some video games.
Alright, so Pirate Warriors came out last year and it was digital only, and it is coming out again in the US, digital only, subtitled on August 30th, exclusively on the PS3. And this is, if you're not familiar with Pirate Warriors, this is like the Dynasty Warriors-esque game where it's hundreds and hundreds of people on the battlefield, and you get to button mash and beat them all up.
Gum Gatling all the.
Yeah, or UFO in this one. And let's see, it's a lot better than the first one. If you played the first one and you were disappointed, this one is a lot better.
How many of you played the first Pirate Warriors? Good. Did, like, import, how many of you bought the PSN, the English release? Most of you.
Yeah. I have the import for Pirate Warriors 2, and it is so much better. There's none of that platforming that was kind of half broken. There's no like Water 7 level where it doesn't make any sense with spikes falling from nowhere and casino night lights. It's just all action, and the roster is huge. And we actually played through the entire game.
We're going to show them how huge the roster is, because I got to try. This trailer came out a month ago, but since Pirate Warriors 2 is close to be coming out, I think it would be cool to play. I call this the Inception trailer. See if you can figure out why.
Peggy 12.
Can I turn it down? Look, they try to hold Steve Kai in this dip.
an individual story. Ace is still alive for whatever reason.
And that explains the whole Blackwater Miss Scarlet Jr.
Yeah, it's its own story, but I gotta say there are some awesome interactions. Like there's a scene with Kizaru chatting with Eneru, which is just the way that they're communicating with each other. It's going to be awesome. If you plan on downloading it, it is going to be worth it. And there is so many more people on the battlefield at once. Like multiply it by 5, like how many people appear on the screen at once. It is a fun
But it
game.
won't get old because you can play as so many characters.
Yeah, you could play as, and also all the characters that were in the first one are in this one, so you could unlock the pre-time skip Straw Hats as well. And all
You
that.
can play as other people. I know Buggy is playable.
Buggy is playable. Buggy does this really fun thing where instead of dashing, he turns into his like little go-kart self and just drives around.
Chop Buggy. Corona is playable too. I had some drones.
What's next?
What is next?
Alright, One Piece Unlimited World Red. This is a new game for 3DS. No announcement for a stateside or a European release at the moment, but depends how well they sell. Unlimited Cruise did come out on the 3DS in Europe, subtitled only, and with One Piece back on TV, I say bug ban.
Well, this is kind of like a new, it's branching off of the old Unlimited Adventure game, and that did come out in the United States back in 2008. How many of you guys bought that game? A lot of you.
How many of you were disappointed?
You guys are loyal. How many of you guys bought it just to hear new dub voices?
Sounds about right.
Well, I bought it for all the reasons, but it didn't do so hot, so that's a reason why you don't see too many anime games anymore.
Like I said, hopefully with how well it's doing on Toonami, and I say email Bandai Namco, show that there is desire to get it released here in maybe. But also they recently shown on a Nintendo Direct to Japan that Japan is getting limited edition One Piece 3DSs.
XLs.
And this is...
And if you didn't know, the 3DSs are now region locked.
Yeah, they've always been region locked, and it's never been so difficult.
I've never been so pissed. And I just saw this, and I was like, damn region locks, damn them. But these are new, these were just announced this past week on Kotaku. I think they were the first to break the news.
No, it was on Nintendo Direct.
A Nintendo Direct Kotaku, I found them on Kotaku. I'll give them both credit.
It's only a 5-minute.
Only,
Yeah.
but that's gonna do it for video games. But that's not all we do about video games. Just talk about the panels.
For video games, every Friday around 6:30, depends what we feel like. Eastern time. Myself and another person on our podcast, Stephen Hull, who is the official translator for One Piece. We do a gaming stream show every week, and we played through Unlimited Adventure, we played through Pirate Warriors 1 and 2, and now, Romance still on, we also played through, which is the PSP game that came out in Japan and is also coming out on the 3DS in Japan as well. We play through games, we talk about One Piece every week. It's a good time to also interact because we have it in chat room, it's on Twitch, it's twitch.com/GrandlineGaming. And you could ask us questions, talk about One Piece, or just talk about whatever. Honestly, we don't care. But we have fun, it's good, and we play One Piece games when they come out. Currently we're playing through The Last of Us.
You've been playing through that for a long time.
Yeah. I think we'll finish it in the
That's your concept of filler.
Yeah, that's our concept of filler. Let's just play good games.
Never fear the power of the brick.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Are there bricks in it?
Yes, if you have a PS3, Last of Us is good. Not One Piece related. Sometimes we find fun things to make fun of. But no, it's a great way to interact with the official translator of One Piece, myself, and Greg also tends to come online as well to these things. So it's
Never mind the 13-hour time difference.
Yeah, it's only a 13-hour time difference, but it still finds some time. It's appreciated.
Alright, I didn't mention this at the beginning. I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the panel, but we're going to delve into the latest happenings in the manga. It's a friendly warning to anyone here that's not caught up, and if you don't want to be spoiled, we won't take offense if you walk out doing this. But we see you later. Catch up. Ooh, I forgot to mention we're going to give away 3 prizes.
Steve, the trivia is actually quite spoilery.
Yeah, the trivia is spoilery. Well, we should say thank you too. Thank you for coming though. Take care. So we're going to talk about the latest happenings, but we cannot talk about anything past 7/16 because 7/17 is not available officially yet. So
not until Monday.
Not until Monday, so we can't talk about it. So
how many people pay for the weekly Shonen Jump in the U.S.?
Okay. I feel like we should go over Weekly Shonen Jump real quick. I think everyone knows what Shonen Jump is. It's the weekly magazine in Japan that has all these comics and all this manga in it. Comes out every week, newest chapters. Viz is now has their own Weekly Shonen Jump, a digital version that they release on Monday every week. Simultaneous release with Japan, so we're getting chapters the same day.
They release it, I think, around like 1 o'clock Eastern. Like I said, I always say this, but reading One Piece in this format, I love. Just because the translation is so good, you get every character's nuance, there's no confusion at all. I've never had as much fun reading One Piece as I do now because...
And it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was mentioning translation. The translator is also a member of our podcast. That's Stephen Paul.
Yeah.
He works for Viz, and
he's on our manga recaps post every week.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of insight of like background information as well. But no, he captures all the characters' little nuances, and it just makes it so much more fun to read and get so much from it. So if you don't currently read it through Weekly Shonen Jump, I do recommend getting it.
It's only $25.99 for
$25.99 a year.
It's worth it just for One Piece, but you get like 8 other series too.
I'll try not to repeat what Viz said, but you get about 48 issues a year, online exclusives, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't know what to do with them. But you get miniseries, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Toriko, One Punch Man. We got some fucking one punch fans in here. Nice. Awesome.
And the monthly Blue Exorcist chapters.
Dragon Ball Z in color.
Yes.
It's really cool. I recommend
It's a good thing.
But now, I think you guys really want to get into this stuff. We're going to talk about everything happening in Dressrosa right now. And I definitely want you guys to interact with us. I think you guys really want to talk about One Piece, I think. So we'll try to discuss amongst ourselves, open up to you guys. This is new for us. We usually do a manga recap, but the last chapter that came out was a fighting chapter, and I don't think that would have been very interesting to go over. Okay, hopefully.
People punch each other. Yay. So, the current Dressrosa arc. What does everybody think of this arc this far? It is pretty awesome. I gotta say, as Doflamingo is my favorite character, he has been. Just because whenever he makes an appearance on screen, the world always grows larger, and he always has something interesting to say and spin it on a different perspective. And that's one of the things I respect Oda for, because the thing you can tell about a good writer is that no matter how bad a character is, they always think they're the good guy. They always think they're in the right. And with Doflamingo, you just get his like twisted logic, and it kind of could creep you out sometimes because it could be like, I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah,
I think before we get into any sort of questions from you guys, we're going to do one trivia question.
For a prize, yes. And how we're going to do it is I'm going to show you all 3 of the prizes. We'll ask one trivia question. Whoever gets it right, you'll come up and you'll get to pick which one you want.
And we'll be doing this by the first person to have their hand up, so we'll be watching. I'll point you out. I'll do it. So we'll get up the prizes and we'll ask the question.
So this is what I got. I got a straw hat flag. I got a Roger flag. And I got Stand forever. Alright, I'm gonna watch the hands. Keep the hands down until the question is finished being asked. Don't do this.
So here's the question. We know that Kinemon, the samurai who's joined the Straw Hats for the latest adventure, is a samurai from the Wano country, which is clearly based off of Japan. And in the most recent chapters, we've met the Don Chin Chow family. What country are they from, and what country is it based on? I think the guy in the gray shirt had his hand up first. Yeah, that's you. And what country is it inspired by?
China.
Yes, it is. Come on up.
Yeah, currently they're the main focus over the last two chapters because Luffy's currently duking it out with Don Chin Chow. And
who's got a misshapen head?
You just come over here, dude.
It's, yeah, you got one. Take your pick.
Take your pick. Choose wisely. He went with the white beard. Alright, so let's get into some of the stuff here. I want to talk about this guy real quick. This is Admiral Fujitora. What does Fujitora mean? Purple tiger, that's not a tricky question, I'm sorry. I was just hoping everyone just yell it out. No. He's one of the new admirals, and I believe he was reinstated over the 2-year time skip due to the
global military draft.
Yes. We don't know too much about that. Joe Flamingo was the first one to mention that.
He also mentioned something else when he mentioned that Green Bull, which is the name of the third admiral we haven't seen yet. And it makes sense because Kuzan is no longer an admiral due to his fight with
although we will say, Kuzan does make an awesome appearance in One Piece Film Z. That opens out in America.
One day. Just like it sounds. But Fujitora, he's blind. He's blind as a bat. No, I'm just but he's definitely got some sort of ability.
He's very powerful.
Very powerful. From what it seems like he has some sort of gravity ability.
Yeah.
He's bringing meteors down to freaking planet and trying to squash Doflamingo.
Making big holes in bars, if anyone remembers the beginning of the arc.
Really awesome. There's a lot that's happening. I mean, we saw a hint of his power with the gravity and how, I mean, we're assuming gravity bringing down the meteor, but we also got to see the first physical representation of what Doflamingo is.
I have a spread of that. I'll show that later. Does anyone have any different theories about Fujitora? Does anyone think it's not gravity-based?
Well, I don't think they would do two gravity-based powers. Like, after all, they did Blackbeard.
He is darkness. There's darkness.
The darkness is.
I think gravity plays a part in it, but I don't know. I don't know to what extent.
You've seen instances of One Piece where you have a Logia parallel parabeast. I mean, I know Donachino wasn't canon, but he had heat-based power. You know, he was a parabeast. Like Caesar and Magellan was a Logia. You know, so yeah, Magellan and Caesar were poison, Logia and parabeast. So
yeah, there's definitely.
And when you think of and when you think about like zones too, there's more than one cat fruit and all that. So.
And I think the difference between Fujitora and Blackbeard is Blackbeard's power also sucks the power out of something.
Yeah. We still don't know the full extent of that power yet because we still don't know.
Or how he stole Whitebeard.
We don't know how he stole Whitebeard. Does anyone have any interesting theories about Whitebeard? Yeah, I know. I'm just curious.
The one theory I've heard so far is that when a double fruit user does die, their power does leave, and supposedly enters into another fruit, so it would be like another normal fruit sitting around somewhere, and that power, if they're right, it will then enter. So the theory is that Blackbeard has another fruit with him as he killed Whitebeard.
That does make sense.
Yeah, if
it does make sense because we saw that with Slimy or something. Smiley. Yeah, Smiley. Yeah, it wasn't. It looks like a Slimy.
Yeah.
But the Smiley back on Compazo we saw that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Let's get into the Corrida Coliseum, where you can't have a shonen manga without a fighting tournament. It's only a matter of time. But what do you guys think of the tournament so far? It's definitely expanding the world, which is always awesome.
You really thought the Burgess was coming back.
Yeah. And here's another thing. I think that's the giraffe toy guy.
He's in every crowd shot.
He's in every crowd shot. Next time you read the manga, look for a giraffe guy.
Yeah, and if you listen to the podcast, we're always looking for the giraffe in the manga recap. Like, all right, he has to be in one of these panels.
But this is the volume for this is the cover for the latest volume, 71, and this has got some of the well-known participants. Well, let me say. He was the least famous.
Yeah, he's King Punch Man. That's his name.
What's his name, everybody? Okay, so everyone knows. And of course we got Bartolomeo right there. This is Sai. I love this guy. Cavendish, yes. Bellamy, who's totally not dead. Which, as we say on the show, continues the theory of if you don't see a dead body, they're not dead in one piece.
I wonder how many callbacks we're going to get to Giant this arc.
Well, we already got a couple. We'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
That's Boo.
Yeah.
He got put in the Boo box. This is Rebecca. How many Rebecca fans here?
I gotta say, Rebecca is one of the more interesting characters just because she has a backstory with the toy soldier, and she also seems to have a backstory with who's posing as Ricky.
Which we're gonna get into in a little bit. I do have some stuff on that. That's Don Chin Chow. Luffy's currently fighting him. And who's the guy with the paper bag over his face? Jesus! It's Jesus Burgess, everyone, or Jesus Burgess. I don't know. I say the same thing, but didn't you say there was a book that lists the pronunciations of the names?
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, the Japanese kana, if you just look at the Japanese kana, it's with syllables, so they say Jesus. But yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, his birthday is also December 25th, which was a Jeopardy question at OPPJapan last year that no one knew how to answer, and then someone in the back just said Jesus. It's like, that's right.
Yeah, by the way, looking at the cover, I gotta say one of the best parts is everybody's disguises.
Everyone loves. I love Lucy.
Yes. All right, come on. We got someone disguising as someone disguised named Lucy and someone disguised named Ricky. I think.
Yeah. And of course, this is from. I believe it's from 716.
Yeah. Chapter.
Awesome.
This is the first time we've seen two characters with the Emperor's haki sort of really clash fist to fist ever since Shanks and Whitebeard did it.
I think it's pretty awesome.
It is.
Anyone else have something to say about the tournament?
Yeah, it gave me a lot of flashbacks to the Dark Tournament in which I really love, because that was where like Yu really kicked off. So I loved having like kind of those old Tsunami flashbacks. So there's a lot of nostalgia involved with this.
Well, maybe.
Also, it's about time One Piece had a tournament.
And if anyone can find a way to make a tournament that isn't boring, Oda can do it.
Let's hope. I see a hand over there. Oh yeah, don't get me started on a Yamcha rant here. We'll be.
Yes, you. Yes.
I immediately spied two references to the contestants. Carrie Funky.
Oh yeah, we talk about this a lot on the podcast. Steve and I are huge.
Are you a wrestling fan?
Yes, my father raised up wrestling.
Nice.
He's talking about the Funk brothers, who one of them is Kelly Funk with the jacket fruit, and then his brother Bobby, the big guy. Bobby. I was gonna put in some inspirations, but didn't have the time for it. But yeah, if you don't know, the Funk brothers are based off of the actual wrestling Funk brothers.
And there was also references to Tiger Jeet Singh and Abdullah the Butcher, who were big monster heel bad guy wrestlers in Japan in like the early 80s.
I got another wrestling reference later I'll get to. But anyone else have something to say about the tournament?
Sword guy.
Yeah, sword guy.
You with the mask.
You, the only one with the sword. It's. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
was originally done in the comic first, and then they liked it so much they made a toy of it and they put it in the show. I don't know what Oda does.
He clearly watches like 50s comedies, so who knows what he watches?
That dude's so busy. I don't know what he watches.
Or what he has time to watch.
Know what he has time to watch, but we don't know for sure. But I would appreciate that if you did, because yes.
Do you really think one guy in D Block
Dagama, yeah.
robotic a little bit?
He's talking about the guy that looked like Eggman.
Just a little bit, you think?
We also mentioned that on the podcast.
I talked about that with Greg though, and that's currently a big misconception going on in Japan, and a lot of people are giving Oda a lot of crap for that.
Really?
But he's based off of Darumaka, which is it's a Japanese. I forget. I'm so sorry, but it's a Japanese thing. Look it up. Does anyone play Pokemon? There's a Pokemon based off of it. Yeah, there you go. Look it up. He does kind of look like Robotnik. I want to talk some more. Let's talk about...
Another thing about Weekly Shonen Jump, we got a special color chapter 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So everything, full color One Piece chapter in Weekly Shonen Jump. It was awesome.
Also, I think it's time to do another trivia question. And now... Jason.
Alright, with this colored chapter that here, does anybody know what chapter number this was?
You with the hair, you had your hand up first.
You in the back.
Yeah.
213.
213? No, not 213.
No.
No? I lost count. What do we do with it? How about the wall right there or something?
713?
No? Okay, the hands gotta go down because the hands stay up and then I don't know who to pick. Hands down.
Alright.
Repeat the question, Jason. What was
Raise
the
your hand after I finish saying the question. What was the chapter number that had the colored chapter in Weekly Jump?
With the checkered hat and the pink.
9714?
Yep.
Come on up and get a flag.
It was 714. But yeah, it was the 45th anniversary of Shonen Jump. You can come and get a flag.
Little thing, this wasn't in Weekly Jump in Japan, it was black and white. It was a special digitally thing. Japan has, like DBZ, colored chapters that they do that are digitally colored that people pay for, but as a subscriber to Weekly Shonen Jump in the USA, we got a special full color edition, which actually was done rather nicely, of One Piece and Naruto. So.
But I got some examples because some interesting things happen in that color chapter. For instance, this guy Ricky, the mysterious gladiator. Apparently he has some sort of motivations to take down the Doflamingo family.
There's a whole thing about how Doflamingo ended up running that country that we haven't found out yet.
I'm excited about it.
All right.
But Blue, what was that? Yeah, Celestial Dragon. Yeah, I'll get to that in a little bit. We got that too. But yeah, he's got some beef with the Doflamingo family, but he was taken out by Blue Gilly in the tournament, and he's out. So here's him, and pretty much saying, "Oh, you're bleeding from the head. We have to take off your mask to treat you." And he's like, "No." And then he stumbles in front of Rebecca, and Rebecca tries to convince him, "Hey, you gotta get treated. You gotta take that mask off." And he's like, "On the hand," and walks away, and it cuts to a flashback.
Flashback plus teeth gritted equals sad story.
Who is Ricky? Anyone got some ideas?
I mean, come on, Jason. There aren't any happy flashbacks in One Piece.
Do you have a good idea of who Ricky is?
I think it's that guy, when Luffy got the armor on, the gladiator armor, and he saw the statue, I think that's who Ricky is.
Kairos?
Yeah.
Statue of Kairos, and we still remember that, right? It was on the cover of 71.
Yeah.
Let me go back to it real quick. He's talking about the statue back here, the legendary gladiator Kairos.
Who everyone seems to have forgotten.
Yeah.
The statue.
How the legendary statue ended up being Jesus' birds?
No.
Also, we did see when Ricky was fighting, someone in the audience saying, "I've seen someone fight like that before, but they can't remember."
Fighting with one sword and no shield, and the statue of Kairos is him just, I think, holding the sword like that.
Yeah.
So, And it's also very interesting to point out he has the skull and crossbones on his cape. Former pirate, possibly. Maybe did he pull a Yasa?
That's what it looks like.
I have sneaky suspicions, but does anyone else have some ideas? You have a hand up over there.
Can you speak up a little bit? The Tontadas.
No, he's talking about the Montblanc family.
Oh, yeah.
Nolan, that's what he's referring to. You have a hand back there. I'm curious what you have to say.
What's his nickname? Bronze Kairos? Was like the funniest nickname Bronze?
Bronze Kairos. I don't know off the top of my head actually.
Because if it is, then it makes sense that it was Gold Rogers, Silvos Rey, and Bronze Kairos. They could have been
All right. Well, we gotta move quickly because we got about another 15 minutes. Let's talk about this guy, Bartolomeo. Apparently, he has some business with Luffy. We don't know what that is. Apparently, he's working for someone. He's also the barrier man. He ate the barrier fruit, and he's carrying around a money in the bank briefcase. I don't know what's inside it, but what's inside? What's in the box, man? What's in the box? But danger and hazard stickers all over it. I don't know what this, I can't figure out what his intentions are. Does anyone have some interesting theories on that? You, sir, in the back, you gotta shout it.
I'm just going to say the obvious thing. A lot of people are speculating that he's Sabo.
Wait, Sabo's alive?
How many people think Sabo's alive?
No, the better question. How many people think Sabo is dead? Fools.
Where's the body?
There's no body.
There was no body.
Let me hit this real quick. Remember the flashback? Oh, once you drink a sake cup, with your brothers, you're truly men. Only 3 people knew that. Ace, Luffy, and Sabo. Ace is dead. Luffy's training. So at Ace's grave, they're set a sake bottle and 3 sake cups.
Yep.
Who would know that? Sabo's alive, and he's not going for me. But he's an interesting fellow. I can't hear more from him. Talking real quick about Bellamy. He's told
we got some actually interesting character development because he comes back and he doesn't kind of have a grudge with.
He doesn't look down on Luffy in people's dreams.
Yeah, when we saw him fighting, you could even see him kind of belittling someone a bit who was spouting the same philosophy he had in the previous.
And also, Luffy started cheering for him.
Yeah.
And now, Diamante says, "Hey, you have orders to kill Luffy before this tournament ends."
Yeah, and you can see that he's a bit complex.
Yes,
he doesn't know. He doesn't know what to do. You can see it on his face. Get Jessica. Let's talk about these little dudes. The Tontadas. I love these guys. So a few years ago.
They're hilarious.
A few years ago, Otis said we would be seeing a new species in One Piece soon, or a new race. And I'm guessing he meant the Tontadas, the little people, because that's Oda, he says something and then it'll happen a few years later.
And also, I'm not going to mention this, but these aren't mountains he's standing on. Yeah. But someone very familiar with us has visited the Tontadas before. And that was Montblanc Noland. We all remember him. He found the Shandorians and that flash. We don't need to get into it. But kind of cool that now we're getting more tie-ins with previous arcs. And just to show you how far Oda either plans ahead or he goes back and reads volumes and ties things together, in one of the chapters of the flashbacks, when Nolan's back in his hometown and the kids are gathering around to hear stories, one kid yells, "Tell us about the land of dwarves." And that is the Tontada Tontada Kingdom.
Yes. So,
which was apparently ruled by the Tontadas at the time.
Yeah, but no one helped help them fight. I don't know who they fought, but he was a hero to them. And then we got this guy, Usopp.
So when people first saw Usopp's disguise and saw how he had the chestnut helmet, how many people figured that Nolan or the Mont Black family would come into it?
Anyone? No one. Liars.
Then you're probably lying because
no one saw that coming.
Yes. It was just incredible, like, on Oda's part, that he does plan ahead. And we've said it before on the podcast, Oda has every single volume of One Piece on his desk with sticky notes on pages of things to go back to. And he released a data book even, like, a few years ago that had stuff from 2 years before he started One Piece. They still had to censor out stuff from, like, his drawings and sketches because he's not up to it yet. This guy has a lot of things planned, so remember Rayleigh, he was in 2 panels, not a name, and then 50 volumes later, major character.
Yeah. But Usopp, of course, lied and said, "Oh yeah, I'm a descendant of Nolan." And they're like, "Oh, really? So you're gonna lead the battle against the Doflamingo family?" And they're chanting, "Usopp, Usopp," and then we get one of the greatest panels of Oda's ever.
I like the build up to it also. It started with, huh?
And I'm going to go over this real quick because we don't have too much time left. Fujitora, Law, and Doflamingo are in a triple threat match right now on Green Bit. And we're seeing it on the far right, looks like a gravity ability from Fujitora. And of course, Law is doing room over here. Unfortunately, I don't have a panel of Doflamingo using what looks to be a string ability, but it's still a mystery if it's a devil fruit, which I'm pretty sure it is. What exactly it is. How and also, there's a little more to Doflamingo than we thought. Is he a celestial dragon?
It could be. I mean, we found out a lot about Doflamingo. First, we found out that he does indeed want to become the Pirate King. Yes. And now we're also finding out that, yes, he has that pull over the government. And I love Law's reaction. He's like overlooking so much things. Like when Virgo said to him, like, "Hey, you know nothing of Joker's past." He kind of just tossed it off on the side, and now he's like, "Oh, that's what he meant."
I should have asked him.
Yeah, I should have.
Before I sliced him in half.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if this is coming out, but before the flashback, we saw Doflamingo meeting with someone, kind of like with a little hat. Who was silhouetted, and now we have Cyberpole Zero, who's wearing the same hat. So it's like
kind of looked like that guy over there.
Yeah. So we have like all these people. Like, who are they? There's this new government and everything, and it just kind of reorders like how the whole government is structured in a sense, and who reports to whom, and who's really in charge. We even saw before where Fujitora was saying to Sakazuki, it's like, wait, what is this? I thought Doflamingo quit the warlords. Sakazuki's like, yeah, I'm gonna see the 5 old geezers now. I could just imagine Sakazuki going up to the 5 elders and being like, guys, what the hell?
But there's definitely a hell lot more to this arc. I can't wait for Block B to be over, or Block C to be over.
I can't wait for Monday.
Yeah.
We don't have too much time left, so I'd like to get this last trivia prize out of the way, and then we'll just take some questions, theories from you guys, and that'll wrap up the panel. So my trivia question is Be My Eyes, and I'm asking for Japanese. It will make sense at the end. What is the name of the current 3rd Admiral? That's not Kizaru or Fujitora.
Chopper hat in the back there. Yes. In Japanese.
No, Japanese.
Japanese.
Nobody.
The guy with the black shirt and the sleeves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm? No.
I asked him.
And the red-haired guy over on the right? No. And You right there with Dan? Yeah.
No, sorry. I should change the question for people so this one. Oh, it's
Ryukyu. Yes.
Green Bowl.
I'll take one. Take some tickets. If anyone has theories, now would be the time.
We're going to think of another trivia question.
Theories or questions or things in general?
How about you and choose?
Yeah, about that new government you talked about. Like in the Z movie, you know how Z was like game plan about taking over, like differently, like the animal making like king, and like Z was like about to destroy the world. Why then like he was by himself, like fighting.
You mean fight Z in the movie? I think Oda didn't want to give away what Akainu looks like. I mean, we got a good idea what he looks like, but I think he's saving Akainu for a big moment.
Oh, also, remember, he's not Akainu anymore.
Yeah, he's just Sakazuki.
He's just Sakazuki.
He's Fleet Admiral Sakazuki.
I think Oda deliberately chose what you could see in Z and what you can't see just yet. Anybody else? With the face mask.
I just want to sound kind of crazy, but I'm thinking about this for a while. It's probably coming from watching some of the old Takashi, the old string master plan. But I really believe that Zoro's eyes is missing. I really believe that you're going to find out like later on, just like we see now, we had these certain powers that didn't manifest before, that Mihawk actually implanted in his eyes. And the reason why I think that up until now, you thought that Mihawk's eyes were considered pain-like surfaces. It was just like, like a unique look. If you remember, where Ward is strong is, he actually showed him when Luffy was in Gear Second, using his eyes to actually zero in almost as if he was using a focus on his eyes. He kind of concentrated the circle, just something weird. He was able to like pinpoint exactly who he was when he was too fast. I kind of have that feeling, and we still don't know what Zoro's level is with Mihawk yet, but I kind of get that feeling his eyes are missing so much as he just keeps it close. Same way Kakashi does, because he can't maintain a Sharingan.
Pretty much he's saying that Zoro has a Sharingan eye.
We have a new trivia question.
Yeah, but he was also saying he theorizes that Mihawk might have some sort of ability that uses his eyesight to enhance his
They've
body.
always focused on Mihawk's eyes.
Okay.
But I have a trivia question.
We do have a trivia question, so hands on eyes.
So, in the upcoming Strong Room, which is being released in November, the voice of one of the side characters, Dr. Indigo, he's voiced by Ryusei Nakao, who's the Japanese voice of Frieza. What other character in One Piece does he voice? The red shirt, the purple shirt with the beard? Yes.
Caesar Clown.
That's right.
Caesar Clown. And Ryusei Ryusei Nakao is pretty much saving the One Piece anime right now because his performance this season is fantastic. There you go, man.
Enjoy your watch.
Alright, let me check how we're doing on time.
We have time for one more question.
One more question, guys. Pick a good one.
Bracelet.
Dr. Chow says he's missing, it's like a stone like water through that period. So is people who are Kairos. It's all females all in the same
Whether or not Dungeon Chow's missing memories from Gar. I think that was more of a figurative sense, but everyone seems to have actually forgotten Kuros, which I think it has a lot to do with Doflamingo pulling puppet strings and stuff like that, tying back in to how he operates, how it reflects in his Devil Fruit power.
One last one.
Yeah, it's
We got this guy, quick.
Blue shirt, yeah.
Okay. Earlier we were talking about how Blackbeard harnessed another power, and the suggestion of another fruit came up. But in the English lobby art, they state that one devil fruit user cannot eat another fruit unless they will die.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was into another fruit, how did Blackbeard get it? What my theory is remember how they just got through a clove over him? Blackbeard used his power to draw the devil fruit power from Blackbeard's body before it left.
Without question, I think it has to do with Blackbeard's ability because he was saying in Enies Lobby, any devil fruit user that eats another devil fruit, they apparently explode. So, and Blackbeard did not explode. I think it has something to do with his ability. Because Blackbeard,
it's a technicality where he did not eat a devil fruit.
Blackbeard sought this specific devil fruit.
Right.
There's got to be, yeah. And now, apparently, yeah, he's hunting other users. We don't know what for yet. But guys, unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. I'm sorry, but I just want to thank you guys are incredible. you check us out if you've never listened to us before, and keep watching, keep reading, keep supporting One Piece.
One Piece
It's the
fans.
best damn show around.
One Piece fans are all the fans in the world.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Well.